Let's talk about the timing here. Why wasn't Hamas charged after October 7th? Because when we see what happened on October 7th, wouldn't that count as a war crime?
Mhm. It absolutely would. But again, you can ask the prosecutor, Karim Khan, why he chose not to go after Hamas in that same way. Look, he's had one trip to the region in December, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Palestinian-focused trip. He was supposed to conduct another fact-finding mission to the area, and he canceled it on May 20th, the same day that he issued his call for the arrest warrants. He hasn't done his job, frankly. He hasn't, he's alleged that the Israelis are taking certain acts as a matter of policy with the intent to cause starvation and harm to the Palestinian population. But he hasn't gone and sat down with Israeli military officials and seen like if there are any mitigating factors that are, if indeed, as he alleges, right, the Israelis aren't allowing enough food into Gaza is one of the elements that he's attempted to charge the Israelis with. Are there mitigating factors on the Israeli side? Go sit down and do a proper fact-finding mission to determine this. He hasn't done that. Again, this seems like a politically stacked or politically motivated decision. I think that accounts for why he didn't immediately move to go after Hamas when their crimes were obvious and self-documented.
The timing also comes 2 weeks after Donald Trump won the election. Does that matter? Do you think that timing is just coincidental?
I mean, I can't speak to the minds of the judges who finally approved the arrest warrants. Perhaps not. I can't speak to that. It could just be the time that it took to review. Legal processes are lengthy by nature. I think Karim Khan had been pressing for this for some time. If anything, it's bad timing. I would imagine that the Trump administration, like there are U.S. laws. There's a law passed in 2002, whose name I'm blanking on right now, but it basically empowers the United States that if one of our officials or service members are arrested by an ICC country, and not just directly, but also those of our allies, Israel's named by name in this 2002 statute, to act against such an action. So I would imagine that under a Trump administration, the United States would be more willing to enforce this law forcefully rather than under the Biden administration, which has more of a tendency to be more cooperative with international institutions like the ICC.
The Israeli-Hamas war has been going on now for over a year. What do you think that this action does to the trajectory of the war?
I mean, Prime Minister Netanyahu said that Israel will not be deterred. The war is ongoing. I think what it does is complicate matters for the Israelis. It's another pressure point that Hamas can use to bring the war to a premature conclusion. Look, all Hamas wants is to survive, not for the Palestinians to survive. We need to distinguish between this. Hamas itself wants to survive. They want this war to end prematurely so they can regenerate at a certain point and plan to attack Israel again in the future, as they've threatened to do. Right? Hamas itself has now become part of the resistance axis, this Iranian-led regional alliance, whose joint goal is the destruction of the state of Israel. It's allies with Iran, with Hezbollah, with the Houthis. So if this resistance axis loses Gaza as a front against Israel, that's a serious setback. They want to see this end prematurely for the Israelis. So this is another pressure point on Israel to lead it to end the war prematurely. We'll see if this even translates or has some impact on Israeli actions in Lebanon as well.
Well, David Daoud, I always appreciate our conversations. I appreciate your insight, your expertise. You are welcome back anytime. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much.